And we're live. Welcome here to the Team Tank Podcast. We are here to recap a potentially devastating loss tonight, or win tonight, for those of you anti-tankers out there. The Lakers beat the Detroit Pistons. They essentially led the entire length of the game. The Pistons are just hot garbage. They look freaking terrible. Justin will talk about that later. The thing that bothered me the most is the thing that always bothers me in these games is Byron just going completely away from Jordan Clarkson in the fourth quarter. Harrison, you were managing the tweets for Silver Screen and Roll today. What were your thoughts on that?
It's just like it's baffling at this point. Like I don't understand why it's like so hard. Like Lynn was having a good game, so I understand Byron's trying to win and like all of that. But I don't understand why the two of them can't play together. And like, if he's like so determined to play Lynn, I don't understand why they can't go with 2 point guards. But like, you know, they're 2 point guards, so that doesn't fit in Byron's mind. But it's just so frustrating to see Clarkson when he's playing that well. Like he was dropping dimes. He had like a career high 8 assists. Like he had a couple like beautiful no-look passes earlier in the game, and he's just shown like so much progress that it's really frustrating to see him not get those learning opportunities down the stretch.
That's the biggest thing. I mean, Justin, you get to weigh in here as the outsider of watching all this take place and laughing and pissing on the fire essentially. But like when I'm watching these games, it's like, all right, the number one thing that the Lakers can build off of this year is what? Jordan Clarkson.
Yeah.
Jordan Clarkson. And I don't know. I mean, playing in crunch time situations is pretty important for a young player, right? Like that's something you want them to be able to make their mistakes now with, and then be prepared to play in that situation next year. But no, right? Like no, Byron plays veterans in those minutes. Those minutes are for veterans. Coffee is only for closers, right?
Like the only like phrase I could actually say is like I don't get it, but I do because he's so stubborn. Like. You can't have a guy that you're starting, a rookie. He's 22, going on 23, I think, in a couple months or whatever. But it's like he's a rookie, and you're starting him, so you're trusting him, right? So why not trust him to play in the fourth quarter, even if it's a close game, even if it's a game that you're trying to win? You got to trust him at some point, and by not playing him in the fourth quarter, you're just showing him like you don't trust him to actually take care of the ball. You don't trust him for anything. It's not like he had a bad game. Like he didn't shoot great, but he still had 8 assists. He was dishing the ball well.
And like that's the most frustrating thing about it almost is like you're telling him, oh, I want you to like learn from your mistakes and I want you to earn that playing time in the fourth quarter. Like what more can he do tonight? Like other than like shoot a little bit better. But like over the past couple games, he's shot great. He's like shown really good playmaking skill. What more does he have to do to earn that playmaking time? At some point, he's like you got to think he's going to start to tune out Byron a little bit if he's giving him this message of like you got to earn your playing time down the stretch, and he's playing great through 3 quarters and then getting benched for no reason.
Yeah, it like makes no sense. I seriously just don't get it. Like you can't play him 28 minutes through 3 quarters and be like, oh, your minutes are up today. You don't worry about playing the fourth.
Well, and that's what I don't get. Like, okay, I can understand it if Byron actually sat there and explained to me, all right, well, you know what? Clarkson is a rookie. This is his first time playing in an 82-game season. We want to manage his minutes, and we want to make sure we stretch him out and not burn him out by the end of the season. Okay, fine.
Well, manage his minutes better.
You're showing nuance. You're showing perspective, but sit him early.
Yeah, like...
We don't need minutes in the second quarter. Make sure he plays. If you want to play him 28 minutes, make sure you get to the fourth quarter with 7 or 8 minutes set aside to make sure this guy gets, these important touches.
Why don't you just play him 7 minutes every quarter?
And just like that's too advanced math, but the Lakers don't use analytics. Haven't you heard?
They can't add and subtract.
Yeah, but like that's the most frustrating thing is that he can't even claim that it's minutes management because like he basically murdered Kobe Bryant playing him like 38 minutes a game like early in the year, and Kobe's 37, Clarkson's 23.
Which is the same crap everyone killed D'Antoni for.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh, he ran him into the ground, and Byron did the same thing.
Yeah, but Byron knows what it means to be a Laker, I guess.
Oh, that's right.
So
Yeah,
like maybe that makes it okay.
he
I guess
understood that they were Laker minutes.
it's Laker on Laker crime.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting you bring up the whole like people killing D'Antoni for stuff that we applaud Byron for, right? And of course, you go to this stupid Time Warner cable station where they just slough off these damn Lakers the whole damn press conference. You see Byron up there smiling like he did something great. Byron, that's what, your 18th win on the season? Congratulations. You have a .432 win percentage with 1,000 games under your belt. If anything you can be actually impressed by is the fact that people keep on hiring your ass after doing this stuff. It's ridiculous. And then, all right, woosah. But you got media members who, Michelle Roberts said that they all just sit around and wait for these guys to say something important. Well, you know what your job is to ask them questions that actually draw out important statements. So if you're sitting there in the post game, and this has become a trend at this point, it'd be one thing if it was one game, but all these guys sit there, Baxter Holmes is sitting there waiting for him to say something significant. Why don't you just ask him, hey, why aren't you playing Clarkson down the stretch of these games? He's the only Laker who actually should be built around right now. But no.
No one wants to ask hard questions with anybody on any team, because it's like, because you ever watch like press conferences, they ask the same question like 6 different ways.
Yeah.
It's the same stuff they do in politics. Like the Hillary Clinton thing today was like they asked her like the same question 10 different ways. It's like, what, you expect a different answer? Like, you got to ask better questions, and no one wants to.
Right.
Because it could interfere with their job. They might have to actually do more than they want.
Right, and you sit there and it's like, all right, I know the Lakers lean heavily on media. They take away media passes. They tell people you can't go to this press conference or that one. I get that. If they want to censor their media, whatever. But I think it's worth the risk. This is something that, you're legitimately talking about the future. And if your job is to analyze how this franchise is being run, you're doing it poorly if you're not pushing this guy to give you actual information in these post-game press conferences. I worked in police PR. I've had cops do something stupid that you had to ask them, hey, dude, what were you thinking here? And they don't want to ask it. It's their livelihood on the line. You're talking about other people's actual lives on the line. And no, at the end of the day, all they're worried about is, well, I sure hope they give me a front row seat next press conference.
Well,
get out of here with that stuff.
That's the thing. Like, the Lakers, like, I don't know anything, like, about them leaning on media passes, like, firsthand or anything. But, like, even if they were really doing that, it's not like they're going to ban the LA Times or the Orange County, or not the Orange County Register, or like Bleacher Report with Kevin Ding. Like, they aren't going to tell Kevin Ding you can't come to a game because you asked a hard question. Like, right. They take so much bad PR for that. Like, and it's just, like, I don't know if it's a matter of not wanting to upset a potential source or something along those lines, but it's just frustrating that, like, you don't get that. You very rarely hear them ask anything about, like, coming down the stretch of the season, like, you guys are officially eliminated from playoff contention tonight. Why did Jordan Clarkson only play 28 minutes? Or why did Jordan Clarkson not play down the stretch? Why is Carlos Boozer closing out games with Jeremy Lin and Wes Johnson? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
It's baffling.
Yeah, it's really hard to find. Like, they're the Tank Avengers. I wrote about that today. They are the Avenger. They are no longer, like, simple military soldiers in a tank. They are the superheroes of the tank. And they are here to try and, like, save the Lakers franchise with losing. But they did a bad job at that, too, tonight.
Right. All right, so speaking of baffling, Justin, I'm going to go ahead. We're going to introduce a segment, seeing as Justin is such a great friend of the podcast, friend of everything we're trying to do here. We're going to introduce Just in Time, where basically Justin gets to rant about whichever team, in this case the Pistons, the Lakers somehow beat, because that just shows that whatever you're doing, X team, that whatever you're doing, on tonight, you did something wrong. So tonight your target is the Detroit Pistons, Justin, and go.
I don't like Reggie Jackson. Like, well, on the surface, when they made the trade for him, I didn't understand it. Because, yeah, Brandon Jennings was out, but it's not like DJ Augustine was bad. He was actually playing great. He was actually making threes, and he was making people better, and their team was actually playing well despite not having Brandon Jennings, who was great after the Josh Smith fiasco. And it's like, okay, so you get Reggie Jackson because he's young, but then you're going to have to pay him in restricted free agency to keep him. So basically you're making a commitment to him, and he knows you're making a commitment to him because you can't just get rid of him in the offseason because then basically you traded away guys that are valuable to your franchise for nothing. So you get back Tayshaun Prince, who can't shoot. Reggie Jackson cannot hit the broadside of a barn. It's so bad that he's almost as terrible shooting jumpers as Michael Carter-Williams and Lance Stevenson. Like, you can't be that bad. Like, he'll be 25, and you hope that maybe his athleticism will keep him in the league. So, like, and his defense. So, like, okay, basically you can get to the rim and all this stuff and et cetera, et cetera. But if he's not good at it, it doesn't matter. Like, I think it was, I was just looking it up a minute ago. It's like Detroit out from 16 feet and beyond tonight was 12 of 40. Like, that's so bad.
Oh, my gosh.
I think that's actually worse. No, it's a little bit better than what Minnesota shot against the Clippers yesterday. Like, Minnesota shot like 20% outside of 8 feet or something stupid. And it was.
Well, and you had a comment during the game, too, where you basically said down the stretch, Detroit could easily win this game if they just went. I mean,
yeah.
Carlos Boozer was guarding Greg Monroe.
Yeah, they refuse. They refuse to kick the ball inside of their bigs. Like, Greg Monroe's a really good post-up big, and he's worked on his footwork. Like, he was great or not great, but he was a good post-up guy coming out of college. It's like he can still post up, and they don't do it. Like, they just rely on their guards to do stuff. And the reason that the trade didn't make sense either was they trade away Kyle Singler, who spread the floor really well, and it's like now you got Tayshaun Prince, who doesn't do that. So now everything's bogged down inside. So the bigs and everybody just gets swamped, and Reggie Jackson has to chuck up shots from the outside because no one else will. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope has missed, what, like 30 straight threes or something?
Yeah, heading into tonight, he was 0 for his last 18. He made one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he was terrible. Like, I don't know what's happened to him. It's just bad. Like, that franchise is so badly run now, and I don't get it because they had potential once they let Josh Smith go, and even without Brandon Jennings, like, if you just keep DJ Augustine and Kyle Singler, you could do things. Like, at least you spread the floor. But now with Reggie Jackson, he can't shoot, and he's going to be 25. At a certain point, you have to show something.
Mm-hmm. And has always interested me. And then Harrison, I'm going to bring you in here. Talking about Reggie Jackson, he was going to be an offseason target. Does his performance tonight sour you completely from that as an option?
It's not just his performance tonight. I've never been like his biggest fan, but he's one case. Watching him tonight, the one thing that I was thinking was, I hope it's true, that report that the Lakers don't like to spend on restricted free agents, and that Mitch really meant that, because paying I think it's $14 million they would need to max offer him. Watching him play against Clarkson tonight, Clarkson completely outplayed him, and anything can happen in one game. Obviously, Linsanity happened. So sometimes things go, players play well above their averages and above their mean and above their talent, but it's just I would not be a fan at all of giving him $14 million this offseason for all the reasons that Justin said and more. I just don't think it makes sense.
They're 2-7 since the trade, but they're 1-7 when he plays, and their only win was
the very first game.
Was against Washington, who sucks now. So sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, he'd be a better fit on a team with a little bit more shooting, kind of what you were alluding to. I still think he's okay at top. He has a skill set, but 3-point shooting is not part of it. And
right.
He's having to do that too much.
He reminds me of Tyreek.
A little bit smaller. I don't think he's as tall as Tyreek.
No, but not like in sizes, but almost he's a ball handling guy and he's good at it. But if you're relying on him to make jumpers to sustain you, you're gonna die. And it's because what is it? Their defense, since he's been on the team, their defense is better when he's off the court, and their offense is better when he's off the court. So it's that can't happen.
Yeah, I mean, I'll color myself wrong here. I thought the change in situation would be a big thing for him, but yeah, at the end of the day, if you're a point guard and you can't shoot, I don't think there are many more things more hampering than a point guard that can't shoot in today's NBA or the National Basketball Association, as NFL guys like to say.
Yeah, you can't sustain yourself without a guy just at least a ball handler who can somewhat shoot. He's got to make something.
Yeah, you don't even have to be Steph Curry. You don't have to be Steve Nash. But if teams are going to leave you wide open, you have to be able to hit that shot at least half of the time, or I guess to a decent percentage of the time.
Especially in their offense where the pick and roll is so important, it completely kills it if guys can just go under screens all day.
Like it's the same thing with Dallas.
Yeah, like it's exactly like the Rondo situation with him. Like when you with the prevalence of pick and rolls in today's National Basketball Association, you just can't. I really am not a fan of point guards that can't shoot. And it's why I was jumping for joy last year covering the draft when Marcus Smart was picked with the 6th pick, so he wasn't even on the board for the Lakers.
Like, you don't even have to be a good shooter. You just have to be like even if you're just not John Wall, but even if you just shoot mid-range.
Not terrible.
Yeah, just don't be a liability.
Yeah. Well, and the issue with I never felt too bad about Marcus Smart as a prospect because I think his shot is fixable, right? Same with Ricky Rubio. I think his shot is fixable. But when I see Reggie Jackson shoot and his shooting elbow is out to the side and he doesn't really elevate much on his shot, like that's an issue that I'm not sure you can actually fix.
He shoots like Evan Turner.
When he came out the season and he started shooting this year, he wasn't shooting very well, but I could still see pieces where he could still develop into a not terrible shooter. And that's happened.
Yeah, I just don't know what to make of him because I feel like Detroit is like basically married to him now.
I don't know though. I don't know because you still have Brandon Jennings, and if a team makes some crazy stupid offer, please don't be the Lakers. But if some
it'll be the
team
Knicks.
makes some stupid offer, you could still say, you know what, we don't want to tie ourselves down to this guy based on what we've seen the last 4 months.
Like I feel like the Knicks are gonna make him an offer just because Knicks, but I don't like. I feel like they're just gonna try to move Brandon Jennings. Like, oh, he's got like $8 million or something, so they could try to move him if they can. And I think he's got like 1 year left, so it's like, for instance, like a team like Philadelphia could take him on and be like, oh, we'll just let him get ready for the year and take his time, and then possibly try to sell him at the deadline to somebody because that's a Philadelphia move. Yeah, but it's like, I mean.
They have a type, and it involves an injured player.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, I can't figure out what Detroit wants to do anymore. Like, they've lost 7 in a row.
Yeah. And yet are not quite completely out of the playoffs in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, they're 6 back in the loss column, which at this point isn't that bad, as sad as that sounds, just because East.
These are bad.
Just because East.
Yeah.
Like, if the playoffs started today, Miami would not be in. Neither would Brooklyn.
I'd be fine with Brooklyn not being in. I'd
laugh if Miami didn't make it.
What's that?
I would laugh if Miami did not make it.
I don't know. I find myself pulling for Miami, and it's simply because of how much I like Dan Le Batard. Like, I'm not even kidding. He's really good at his job, and I like that show when they're good.
Like, I just want to see Dragic in the playoffs, but at the same time, it'd be so hilarious if they finished like 11th and Philly got the pick.
Yeah.
It'd be like a major screw you to them because Philly would be like, yeah, we're the lottery twice and maybe 3 times. So hello guys.
Oh, no, you're on the wrong podcast.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Too soon.
So the next tidbit we're going to get to, since you're going to throw a dead fish in my lap, Justin, I'm going to return the favor and say Chris Paul might be out for the season, so suck it.
Oh man, okay, so I was at the game last night. And
wait, really? I didn't. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was. Well, he's not out for the season.
I know. I was maybe an exaggeration.
Oh, okay. I was like
last night because I had to recap the game, but I was actually at it, and I was with a couple friends and all this stuff, and we were all watching the game, and we're just like, he looks terrible. Like, he was hobbling around the court so bad that at one point, I think it was like his second shot of the night, which came in like the second half, he got like a left elbow jumper, and it was like almost kind of like a turnaround jumper. It was like a 90-degree jumper, right? And he turns and he pivots and he dirked it with his left leg. He did not put weight on his right leg whatsoever. Like, he was hobbling so bad. Like, midway through the third quarter, we were talking, like, please don't bring him back out because there's no use to play him. Like, this game is so meaningless. Yeah. And it was – and to his credit, he somehow got 15 assists. Like, he rondoed the shit out of that game. Like, he was just finding guys. You're like, okay. But, I mean, I worry about him because of his knee issues. Like, if it was any other guy with like, and this was his first major knee thing, I'd be like, oh, it's whatever, he'll be fine. But with Chris, you always worry because of his meniscus and all this stuff, and
and the amount of strain that Doc puts on him is pretty otherworldly, right? Where you expect him to not only carry the load offensively, but also be one of a handful of point guards who actually guard opposing point guards. Like keep on saying how like the Austin Rivers move wasn't that bad, and now the Nate Robinson thing isn't that bad.
The Nate Robinson thing is bad.
Well, I've heard some people.
Shrek and Donkey reunited.
Yeah, some people who said that it's not bad are high. I don't know if they've actually watched him play.
Well, the issue
won the dunk contest a couple years ago.
Well, like the issue I have here is that none of those guys can hide Chris Paul, like which should be the priority at this point. This guy, what are you hoping? Maybe one or two. You're hoping for to finish out the season without a devastating injury.
Yeah,
but if he does have said devastating injury, like if that happens, can he ever be the same player again?
No. Like the problem is basically even in his post-game press conference, because I watched it when I got home on like the Clippers desk site, program, because they're the only team in the NBA with that. Like I was watching his post-game press conference and they asked him, "Oh, how are you doing?" et cetera, et cetera. He said, I got to credit the training staff because when I got to the arena, I didn't feel that good. And he goes, I just got to hope that I don't hurt the team. And you watch him, and you're like, yeah, you kind of are, though. And it's not his fault, I mean. And
I just think...
players want to play. They have to be stopped from playing.
And this might sound like crazy talk, but, okay, to me, he's the MVP of the league, but not like the actual award winner. Because I feel like he's the only guy out of all the MVP candidates who actually does everything on each end of the court. Like, he is so relied upon, as you said, that without him, we're screwed.
Yeah, I had him, I think, second when I talked to James or Snotty Drippin during that one podcast, and I feel strongly that way. Chris, you're the real MVP, Chris.
Because think about it, who the hell is guarding?
Never coming to the Lakers if you keep it up.
Because think about it, what other point guard, or at least what other player in the MVP discussion guards the opposing team's best perimeter scorer?
Well, it's Russell Westbrook, but he missed a while, right? Like it's Russell Westbrook right now, but he's it. And
but even they have guys that can, like Roberson's a very good defender that can switch on the guys. And it's like. But Chris doesn't have that luxury. Like, I love J.J. Redick, and he guards James Harden at times, but Chris is on him too. Like, it's pretty ridiculous. Like, I'm surprised. Like, Doc Rivers has tempted the fate with what he's asked Chris to do. And actually, I think that's part of the reason why Austin came in, was that Austin can spell Chris at times with defensive capability, like responsibilities, so Chris can sometimes take possessions off, and because Jamal's not guarding anybody, and Nate's on the floor half the game, literally falling on the floor half the game.
I remember for like the second half or so of Kobe's career, I would always get really frustrated because they never really had a second defender. Kobe had to do both. He was their main offensive weapon, and he was also their key defender. And when they finally got Ron Artest, or even before Ron Artest, Trevor Ariza,
and even Matt Barnes.
Hey, Eureka!
And they had Matt Barnes too for like 1 year or something like that, right?
That was after I believe Ron Artest.
No, he was there. He overlapped with Meta at least 1 year, I think 2.
Yeah, well,
yeah, I think I
meant before Ariza. Ariza was the first guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you guys got Barnes. I think you guys got Barnes when LeBron went to Miami, like the first year or something like that.
Yep, that was it.
So I mean. And Barnes can't really guard as well on the perimeter as he used to. Like Redick's more of a team defender.
Mm-hmm. That's another heady basketball player reference right there.
Yeah, that's some Duke stuff. That's some Duke stuff right there.
He's a gym rat.
Yeah, he slaps the floor. He's an all-time Dookie right there. I'm surprised like they're doing the 30 for 30 on Christian Laettner. I still hate Christian Laettner. I'm waiting for the Redick one to come out.
Oh, that's gonna be a good one.
Because you know there's going to be guys out there just like hating JJ Redick for like 3 hours.
Adam Morrison's first in line. Adam. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and awkwardly segue from. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna try and make this less awkward. We're gonna go from a primarily white discussion when you talk about heady basketball players and scrappy basketball players to a primarily white TV show. We're gonna talk about Arrow on which channel is Arrow on? I forget.
CW.
The CW, which always bothers me because I love triangles.
Yeah, it was all. What was it? The WB.
The W.
Yeah.
And then it was like KTLA, and now it's like, oh yeah, the CW. Like, what the hell is that?
Like, if you pitch a show to them, it has to have like random romantic angles for at least like 10 to 15 minutes of the episode.
That make no sense.
Yeah.
For those of you who are drinkers out there, a fun game is to play "But He Loves Me." So anytime a character says "But he loves me" or "She loves me," that's a drink, and you will not make it through many episodes. So we're gonna put our own spin on this TV show, and we're gonna try to figure out character by character who represents whom in the NBA. Right, so I'll go first here. I'll go first, and you guys can go ahead and correct me if you want to go in a different direction with any of these guys. First guy is Oliver. He is the main character of the TV show. He one of the more charismatic, I would say, characters on TV in that genre of comic books. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say Oliver being the driving force of that TV show, the driving force of this NBA season is the NBA. I don't think there is a singular character with whom the NBA could not go on without this year. And this is the NBA is unique in that way this year. There is no supervillain. There is no, well, not supervillain, but like super team that we all know is going to win. You have LeBron, but you also have other characters out there. I just think basketball on the whole, every single night you have an interesting game on. What do you guys think?
I gotta go Kobe for that one.
Kobe?
Yeah.
All right.
He just like Oliver on the show, he does not understand his limits most of the time. He just always thinks he can do things his way. If he just has himself, he'll be fine. And like Kobe is kind of the same way. He's like so hyper confident in himself that like even though he's clearly a limited player at this point, he still thinks that he could be the best player on a championship team. And like he's willing to go out there and like play on a torn labrum because he still thinks he's better than Wayne Ellington even with one arm. Like
which he probably is.
Yeah, I mean that's probably true, but
So you're saying we have to hope that Kobe is Razal's shooting guard? Is that what you're saying?
He needs the Lazarus Pit for sure.
Oh man.
Do you have a nominee for Oliver, Justin?
I'm gonna actually use an entire team and say Golden State.
Golden State.
Because I feel like they're so charismatic with the characters that they have on their team. Like Draymond Green, Steph Curry with the way that he's able to just do stupid crap on the court that no one else can do. Dribbling through four guys and hitting a step-back three because why not?
He's the only guy that you can say stupid crap on the court and it's a compliment.
Right. Because anybody else, you're like, no. Like that. If someone just came into the podcast now, they think I'm talking about like Lance Stevenson or something.
Or Dion Waiters.
Yeah. But with Steph, like, the stuff he does is so incredible, and they're so charismatic, and I look at it almost like when, like, before they got great was like when Oliver was on the island and he had to survive through, like, crazy stuff, and, like, now they're surviving.
Mark Jackson?
Yeah, surviving Mark Jackson. Now they just got off the island, and now they're battle-hardened.
Mark Jackson is the island. Oh, man.
and now they're battle-hardened, and now they're out there just slinging arrows from deep, man. They're not taking.
That's good. I
like
like
under Mark like what they learned, how surviving Mark Jackson taught them to be superheroes.
To be very cohesive.
I don't even know if we could top that the rest of this.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and go with the next character we're gonna go with.
And also because Oliver's so defensive with his feelings that is like Golden State's defensive prowess.
Ooh, or they're really defensive fans. If you say anything bad about Golden State, you prepare to have your.
As I found out tonight, apparently.
Yeah. So we have next up is Diggle, who, like we said before the podcast, has just a terrible name, man. Like Harrison, you called him a Pokemon. He's Digglypuff.
Yeah, like it's hard to take him seriously when he sounds like a Pokemon. But like I actually like his character.
I love his character.
Yeah, it's just that he needed a better name.
He's good. I wish they'd do more with him. I thought when they went away with him, the season kind of struggled a little bit.
Yeah.
But, I guess you can only have so much medium on the show. So.
Yeah.
Harrison, who is your medium shirt clad?
Medium.
Oh man, that's a tough one. Hold on, Justin. You want to go first? Let me try.
I'll go first. I'll say the Atlanta Hawks because they're almost like a special. Because Diggle was a special forces and army guy, and Atlanta and Diggle snipes sometimes. So I feel like Atlanta's so snipey from deep that Atlanta fits it. Like they go about their business very covertly. No one really pays attention to them half the time, but there they are in the background, just sneaking up on everybody, just wrecking shit. So that's Atlanta.
What do you got? What do you got, Harrison?
Okay, now I got one. I got Anthony Davis.
Ooh.
Because he is like Diggle. He is like really like Diggle's like Justin was saying. He's really valuable to the show. But he sometimes gets relegated to the background for seemingly no reason, and that's kind of similar to Anthony Davis and how because he's never on national TV, like people just don't understand how good he is. And it's just like anytime he comes in, like I don't have league pass. Anytime the Pelicans are on NBA TV, I'm sorry, like I'm busy that night. Like
right.
I want to like they steal every game that they're on, just like he kind of tends to steal most of like the scenes that he's in. So.
Right. I like where you guys went with that. I'm going to continue with my theme here. If the NBA on the whole is the driving force behind this season is Oliver, and Diggle's job seemingly in the show is just to do whatever it takes to support Oliver, I'm going to go with the main star, actually. It's kind of weird here. LeBron James is Diggle because he does everything, right? He's the face. He went home this year to drive even more media interest. He, everything he says on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and everything is completely drives the conversation the next day, right? So in that sense, if LeBron is doing all this stuff with all that in mind, which I kind of think he is, everything he does is kind of on purpose. I'm going to go with him wearing the schmedium that Diggle dons.
And staring into the mirror, sad.
Somebody has to Photoshop Diggle in that picture.
Wondering why his ex-wife won't take him back on the show and then getting back together and having a baby.
I'm running around with a guy that shoots people with arrows for a living. I have a steady job. Take me back.
What do you mean you don't want my last name? All right, so next up on the character list, Harrison, do you think you could go first again here, or do you want to pass it off on Justin again?
Well, tell me who it is.
It's going to be Felicity.
Okay, Felicity.
The on-again, off-again love interest.
Give me a second.
Oh, I got a good one.
All right, go ahead.
James Harden.
Harden.
Because the way I look at him is like he's so aesthetically awesome to watch at times, and then other times you're like, no. And with Felicity's airtime on the show, I love Felicity to death. I don't know anyone who doesn't, but I feel like sometimes when she's on the air, you're just like, can you just stop for right now? Because the episode was great. And with James Harden, I feel like the game was going great until he got to the free throw line 800 times. But, like, you can't deny how great he is.
Right.
He's really great. Like, how I describe it is he's really great within the rules, but it's just, like, not fun to watch.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not into watching
he's great within the role given to him.
Huh?
So you're saying he's great within the role given to him?
Yeah.
Just like she's not given very much.
Yeah, she just kind of tends to like have one line that seals every scene. Like,
oh man, when she told Oliver, "I don't want to be a girl you love," that was it. That was it.
All right, what do you got? What do you got, Harrison? Do you have one?
Yeah, Rudy Gobert.
Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, because she's kind of like the quirky, like, cute, like everybody just kind of raves over her and just like can do no wrong. And like right now, that's Rudy Gobert. Like every single night that the Jazz play, you're gonna see like probably at least 3 tweets in your Twitter timeline that are just like Gobert, like all caps.
Every
Like,
minute.
Go home.
And so, like, every time he just, like, comes into the game and does something crazy or awesome, people are like, oh, look at that young guy. Like, he's so, like, that's adorable. He thinks he's like the best shot blocker in NBA history. And so it's like, it's kind of like her. She's just, like, a human sugar rush. And so...
That is the greatest thing I've ever heard. Oh man,
I somehow top a human sugar rush.
Speaking of Gobert tonight, Cole Aldrich tried to do a post hook on him, and Gobert sent him packing. It was so bad.
Aldrich hook shots are like the best thing ever.
But the Jazz announcers were so great. They're like, he tried a hook shot, and that's like the least blocked shot in the NBA. And they're like, you see Rudy Gobert's like, no, just no.
My Felicity, I just had it a second ago, and I lost it. Oh, Dwight Howard. I'm going to go with Dwight Howard as our Felicity.
Oh, you just ruined Felicity for me.
I kind of did. Here's my problem with Felicity, is that every single, and this is just, I mean, this is an actual thing when you talk about the problems societally that we have with comic books, is that every single plot line that women are in have to do with men, right?
Yep.
All these
billionaires
guys that are fawning over Felicity, and I can't think of anybody who's been more involved with baby mama centralized plot lines than Dwight Howard. I'm going to go ahead and word it that way. So because of that, because every, it's just like, you want to think that Dwight Howard is going to be good. He's had several partners in terms of teams, right? So Felicity.
Oh, I thought you meant women.
Oh, no, that too. Yeah, no, he's had.
I mean, there have been some reports.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna play it nicely. I'm not gonna get fired, but Dwight Howard and all his baby mamas add up to Felicity.
You know what I love about Felicity though? She unknowingly just gets drawn to billionaire playboys.
She really does.
That want to be vigilantes.
Yeah. She's like, she wants a sugar daddy so bad, but like not in like the traditional sense.
She's like how Marvel has Sam Jackson's Nick Fury right now, like connects all the heroes or whatever in their movies. That's basically her for the TV DC universe.
It really is.
It's like they tried to set it up with like Amanda Waller, but it's not. She hasn't showed up on Flash. It's Felicity. She's the kind of interconnected web. So she's Samuel L. Jackson, basically.
Pretty
all right, so we're going to go ahead. We're going to move along here. We have the next up is Roy, the happy-go-lucky, not at all happy-go-lucky sidekick who shows promise, but you never quite know what he's up to. I have my nominee.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Russell Westbrook. You think about this. Last year's MVP was whom?
Yeah.
Kevin Durant, right? Kevin Durant. And then you have Russell or Kevin goes down for portions and long stretches of the season, especially this past one. And what does Russ do? He gets on that whatever that drug that made him a superhuman, and just reels off averages a triple-double since the All-Star break. So I don't know. I mean, it's going to be pretty tough to, whenever Arrow got back and he had, he was going back and forth with Roy. You're super strong. I don't know if I could beat you, but I have to because I'm the central character of this team. Roy is Russell Westbrook.
That was good.
That was good. So basically, Russell Westbrook is Mira Cooper Roy.
There you go. I couldn't figure out the job.
Add it to the list of hyperbolic statements that have been used to describe him in the last week.
Really is.
So I guess that should be the new hashtag is Mira Cooper Roy.
Yeah.
Russell Westbrook.
Somehow I don't think we're going to get that trending.
No, we won't. But at least we'll know what it is.
Yeah.
All right, what do you got, Justin? We're going to go ahead and straight to you because Harrison hasn't been ready yet.
Ooh, I'm trying to think of mine.
Oh, come on.
I think we should just move on to the
well, see, I was going to say the Cleveland Cavaliers because right now they're the sidekick in the East. And you can see their potential. but it's almost like
They need Mirakuru?
yeah, like you kind of don't want to see them sometimes. Like in some episodes you don't really care about seeing Roy, and sometimes you don't want to see the Cavs.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's a good one. That works.
Like basically Mirakuru, like when they went on that streak, like their top like play is Mirakuru Roy, and then every time else is like when he's just sad, depressed Roy because he can't get back with Thea because Thea's with the DJ who tried to kill her or something like that, and now So I'll go with Cleveland.
Gotcha. All right, what do you got, Harrison?
I'm gonna go with Jordan Clarkson.
Oh.
Yeah, because Roy is kind of like he was like a cape chaser basically the first like season and a half. He was just really like he was so desperate to be a superhero, and like we all know that like you're talking about Westbrook is a superhero right now. We all know that Clarkson is going to be Westbrook in just 2 years. We got to have some #patience. But I just I really like. He just seems like he's really trying to learn from like the older players on the team. Like it's kind of a cliche to say that these young players learn from vets, but he seems to honestly be making an effort, or at least he's like claiming he is. Like he says he's gonna go talk to Professor Steve tomorrow, as he called him, Steve Nash. And he was like, he seemed to be really eating up Kobe's tutelage on the sidelines, and so that's what I got.
So he's being tutored by Steve Nash, the well-known arrow slinger, right? He was a great shooter.
Yeah, there you go.
He was what's his name? His name just escaped me right now. Steve Nash is the magician.
Merlin.
Yeah, thank you. He's not Merlin. He got all his money, and all he does is just train because you never see him do anything.
All right, so we're gonna go with we're gonna get away from the good guys to guys that we're gonna finish. There's one character I think we all really like who is a bad guy, right?
He's not so bad.
Transition character, and that's Slade Wilson, right? So who do you guys have? I have no idea who I'm going to ask first this time, so whoever's ready, go.
Okay, Memphis.
Oh, okay.
They're so villainy. Like they're perceived as this tough entity, and they grab you and they push you and they're dirty with you and they impose their will on you. They like you can't go into the paint without one of them forearming you in the chest or the back or something.
AC Green's sitting there in his room right now, like, go on.
Right, exactly.
You gotta stop with this, man.
You're taking the Bang Brothers thing to a whole new level, man. But
some fixation for you.
I'll go with Memphis.
Hilarious! I can't get over it.
Because in a way, Memphis goes with Golden State being Oliver Queen. Because Memphis is kind of locked away on the island in that underground cell, and no one's really talking about them because Golden State's so great and running around doing their thing. But there's Memphis just waiting to be let out. For when the time strikes, they're going to just cause havoc.
I like it.
I'm ready.
Like
okay, go ahead.
No, I said I like it. What do you got, Harrison?
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm going to go with DeMarcus Cousins. Because he's, like, always super pissed off, like, yelling, just horrible body language, and that's kind of, like, Slade's whole thing. He's, like, he's an anti-hero because you kind of like, the guy portrays him, like, so cartoony and enjoyable that, like, it's really fun to watch, but DeMarcus is just always pissed off at everybody, and he seems like he kind of wants to burn your city down and make you watch. Like, he doesn't just want to beat you on the basketball court. Like, he wants you to, like, sit there and watch as, like, your entire city collapses around you.
Like, there's no shaking hands. He does not shake hands.
No, he just, like, you killed his, like, he thinks the entire NBA murdered his girlfriend. And so...
and now he's going to try to tattoo you.
Yeah.
All right. I guess I like both of those guys. I'm going to go with something a little bit more abstract here and say that the impending 2017 lockout is Slade Wilson. It's something that, if it wasn't for this, everything would be hunky-dory in the NBA right now, right? You have this, as it is, you have probably one of the most compelling NBA seasons that we've really ever seen. Right? This is as close the NBA will ever be to the NFL as far as league parity and teams having a chance to do whatever they want. And then you also have, this huge amount of TV money that will make all these teams even better, right? So you have all this going on. You have everything is going to be great, but in the background, you have this guy who's willing to step in and F it up for everybody, right? He wants to make sure not only will the league not be able to have a season, but this could be an extended one, and it could get ugly really fast, and everybody feels great about Adam Silver. Slade Wilson's going to come in and take one of Adam Silver's eyes, just because why not? So yeah, for that reason, I'm going to go with Slade. You are 2017, and you are not going to be nice to us.
For my bonus pick of Laurel Lance, I'm just going to go with Josh Smith because I want him out of the league. I don't want to see him anymore. Every podcast I got to drop how much I don't like Josh Smith. So that's my one for tonight.
All right. So that's a spoiler alert for what's coming on, coming ahead. So we're going to go with we got. We're going to skip Lance. Lance, you're.
Yeah, let's just go to Laurel.
Yeah, you brought up Laurel.
Well, Detective Lance is so random at times. So it's hard to pick a person or team for him. But yeah, for Laurel,
who's ever drunk right now in the NBA? That's Lance.
So that game tonight.
So Rajon Rondo.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right, so we're gonna skip ahead. We have Laurel, who is probably the most hated character in all of TV right now. Every episode, I hope she gets killed with a spoon. So we're going to go with Justin. I think you've been thinking about this a while. Who is your Laurel?
It's Josh Smith. I got to go Josh. I got to stick with Josh. It is so Josh. It is because you watch him play basketball and you're like, can you leave? Even when he hits the occasional three or gets the steal or an assist, you're like, yeah, it won't last because your screen time's up. I feel like it's he's the filler for when the great characters like James Harden come back.
He really is.
I've gotten 2 tweets so far saying people have no idea what we're talking about.
Well, they can watch better TV, people. All right, what do you got, Harrison?
For Laurel, okay, originally I was going to say Dante Jones because he just goes around trying to injure people and he just pisses me off.
Watch it.
But I actually thought of a better one because, Twitter is great and, Laurel is kind of famous for almost every single line. She's been better this season, but almost every line she has is just groan-worthy. And her actions are just what are you doing? And so... just the most frustrating character on a TV show in recent memory that I can think of. And so for me, it's got to be Byron Scott. Listen to this line after the game tonight.
Oh my God, I know what you're about to say because I'm looking right at the line.
Yeah, Byron Scott on Lakers being officially eliminated from the playoffs. Damn, I was waiting for us to go on a 21-game winning streak, and he was sitting up there with a smirk on his face. Dude... you just got eliminated from the playoffs, and okay, I get it. We're all sitting here laughing about it, and we've made plenty of jokes this season, but it's not half the reason. What do we want to go with? A quarter of the reason that they are so terrible is his coach, because this team is not good, but that they're so terrible, probably a fourth is his coaching.
Or a third. I go with a third.
Yeah. And so, he's sitting up there oh, man, I was expecting us to go on a 21-game winning streak. I'm going to go out on a limb here and predict that Byron Scott will never lead a 21-game winning streak in his NBA head coaching career.
Man.
That's a bold move, Cotton.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any safer limb in the history of limbs that you stepped out onto.
We just lost the pick because I just jinxed it, so you're welcome, guys.
It's funny you said that because I simmed the lottery. You guys moved up to 2, so it's okay.
Right.
If you remember, I did tell you guys you are going to pick second.
I sure hope so. So we have, I'm going to go ahead and echo everything Harrison said and add to the fact that, you know what, I wouldn't mind Byron Scott being, stabbed with a spoon somewhere. I don't care.
So you threatened Adam Silver getting an eye gouged out, and you've said you wouldn't mind Byron Scott getting stabbed. I'm pretty sure you're on a watch list at this point.
I probably am now.
And then he wants Laurel to get spooned to death or something, but with an actual spoon. He just wants her to die by spoon. I don't.
Hashtag spooning leads to forking. AC Green's out there. He's stoned. No.
I feel like I should just
on that
like
note.
you give lines like that, and I feel like just one of these times for emphasis, I should just hang up the call. Just my screen's just gone.
I have a pen right here. I just mic dropped on you guys.
I feel like I should call drop on you.
Oh man. Oh, I know I'm veering way off topic, but we always have like we always talk about dumb comments we read.
Mm-hmm.
Clips Nation. I can't wait for Turkaloo to retire and get rid of Halls next year.
But why? Like, what's?
I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't know.
I mean, compared to Lynn comments that we have to deal with, that's on.
Don't get me. Not today. Not today.
No, I know that's tame compared to Lynn comments, but
Mm-hmm.
I can't do the Lynn comments today.
It's nothing worse than when I had people trying to defend the Nate. Well, I shouldn't say nothing worse. It's worse than when people try to defend the Nate Robinson move to me. It's like, no, he's so bad.
I mean, all right. I'm gonna go ahead and pass. I'm gonna pass on everything I'm about to say. I'm gonna save it for my article. I'm not gonna get fired. Oh crap! Gary Kessler just listened.
Yeah, he just killed you.
All right. Well, now that we have a single listener left named Gary, who has to come back because we need to get back on that losing streak.
Yeah, he's got to go back on the Twitter account. I blame the win on him tonight.
Is this hashtag blame Gary? I almost said blame Gary.
Hashtag blame Gary for everything. So I want to thank Justin for jumping on. Harrison, thanks for coming on despite running Silver Screen and Roll today and killing Jeremy Lin.
Thanks for calling me by the right name.
Yeah, anytime I remember, I promise I'll call you Harrison.
All right, thanks, Jeff.
What'd you call him last time?
He calls me Gary every time.
Well, I almost called Gary Larry just now, so
Yeah,
it all works out.
We're all the same person.
they're all the
If you
same
think about it.
thing. They all rhyme. All right, so on the note of killing Byron Scott with a spoon, getting Harrison's name wrong, and leading to forking. Thank you guys for joining in. Next guest tomorrow, we have Court Zirk from Roundball Hoops or something like that. So, great plug. I'll talk to you guys later.